Call of Duty Steam bundle costs over $1,100 and it's not even every Call of Duty game. Now COD 3 and everything after BO4 for some reason is missing, which means the entire Call of Duty franchise would net you over $1,500 Canadian with every game and every DLC across Steam and Battle.net. Now that is downright ridiculous, especially when 99% of these games are not even safe to play currently. Even with the safe launchers that we have today that haven't been cease and desisted, such as Plutonium or the T7 patch, these are still technically against the Activision EULA for Call of Duty, and Activision is well within their right to completely take down these softwares. This should be illegal without a doubt, because Call of Duty is selling you a broken product which requires you on PC at least to run these external softwares for your own protection. Now, I've made videos on this for years, and it's been absolutely insane that Steam and all these other launchers have done nothing about this, especially when multiple older Call of Duty titles can literally cause your computer to get hacked or have your IP address leaked. Really, the only safe thing you're actually getting for $1,100 is the campaign experiences, which are completely overpriced, and that's not even a guarantee, because any game such as Call of Duty World at War, where there's a co-op campaign or a server browser, still puts you at risk for your data being leaked. I've said this before, that if any billionaire wants an easy lawsuit against Activision, this is it. It's practically free money waiting for you on the table, because Activision can't factually provide any evidence that their games are number one, playable, and number two, safe. Not to mention the dying player base as well on each of these games, which is understandable given the amount of time that has passed. But the solution here really is for Activision to release the equivalent of what Halo did, being the Halo Master Chief Collection. This will fix server issues, the RCE exploits, and player counts across all games, all in one swoop, allowing Activision to profit off the older games still, while giving a safe and legal area for players to continue playing Call of Duty. Companies such as Microsoft and Sony have taken matters into their own hands by protecting their own console servers, but this does not prevent cheaters from accessing the games. The 20th anniversary for Call of Duty is coming in 2027, and I think that would be an absolutely perfect time to develop an experience for Call of Duty such as the Halo Master Chief Collection. Now, Halo has far less entries in their titles compared to Call of Duty, and many argue that without Halo Master Chief's Collection, there would be a lot less Halo fans today, and this allows players to have a safe avenue for the older games when they believe the new CODs aren't performing well. And it sucks, because COD's current plan to keep players on their new games is to just shut down older titles like Modern Warfare Remastered for the H2M mod or the Boy client for Black Ops 3, and not only does this further decrease players' trust for Activision, but it makes it so nobody even really wants to play the new games because they're practically forcing you. I believe Activision is a ticking time bomb, because even Watchful Wolf, the creator of the H2M mod for Modern Warfare Remastered, has stated that he will be recreating the mod outside of the Call of Duty engine. Activision doesn't understand that their competition is gaining on them, because if it isn't going to be a game like X-Defiant, it'll probably be some random Joe recreating their mechanics on their own game. And that might be through mods like H2M, or even Fortnite planning on releasing an FPS mode later this year. And you know Call of Duty players are going to want to have a piece of that. Warzone is nearly 5 years old now and really doesn't have the traction to keep CODs afloat as it once did, especially when you see the last 5 entries of Call of Duty heavily relying on Warzone mechanics across campaign, multiplayer, and even Warzone. It really just seems like Activision is being stretched thin, and they definitely need to reinvent their strategy in order to appeal to players, because the Warzone appeal is definitely losing steam, and talented modders are already outperforming the hype of Black Ops 6 with their creations such as the H2M mod. It seems like it's just the hype cycle of Call of Duty keeping it alive for about a month, and then people heavily relying on seasonal content for the games to even be enjoyable, and this is just not how the older Call of Duties were made and designed. Activision will probably never change, unfortunately, because they are still constantly hitting the #1 sales each year for the newest Call of Duty, and players are purchasing microtransactions, are not only contributing to the lack of development, but also reducing the actual amount of playable content in these games. There's content inside the games now that are even more expensive than the actual Call of Duty game itself, and people are actually buying this stuff. Ultimately, every everyone is at fault here. Activision is at fault for psychologically using tactics to make players buy more skins, and players are at fault for believing Call of Duty and getting these skins and allowing Activision to get away with it year after year. This is why I genuinely believe Call of Duty will never get a reduction in its price for any of its games because they still sell. But I believe within our lifetimes, there will be a day where the floor caves in for Activision and Call of Duty will be forced to drastically change their marketing strategy. They even recently offered free season passes for the Season 6 of Modern Warfare 3 via email to certain Call of Duty players, which is something I've never seen before and I've never heard of Activision doing because they're trying to keep player engagement and it's definitely coming off as desperate. If they're going to offer free DLC to you in the current game, then Activision should go back to every single title pre-Black Ops 4 in the franchise bundle and make every single DLC free. It's not fair for players to buy a bundle that is extremely overpriced, especially when 99% of that content is not even free, and especially because the majority of that content also accounts for the DLC in those games. Every game leading up to Black Ops 4 is truly iconic, which is why it's possibly the reason the franchise bundle is still selling for over $1,100 Canadian. After Modern Warfare 2019, every single game has been completely indistinguishable, and it makes me wonder if Warzone will ever die off and allow Call of Duty to return to its original identity. The funniest thing is that Call of Duty doesn't even technically have to return to being in its original identity as long as it properly remasters these original games before Black Ops 4. There will always be a player base deciding to choose these older games over the current COD, and to me, it would just be better if they decide to go at this. To me, this was similar to the way the Fortnite Zero build and the build community were going at each other, and this would appease both communities while allowing Activision to succeed with the monetary income. If I were to guess, we're gonna have to wait for the Warzone appeal to fully die out within the mainstream audience for Call of Duty to realize that there is still a massive player base waiting to play the older games. They will never release this remastered title until the new game stops selling, as the H2M mod is simply evidence that Activision sees potential mods as a threat and not as a matter of innovation. Many companies such as Rockstar Games have actually taken on mod developers and have created innovative experiences that we could potentially be seeing in GTA 6, and in my opinion, Activision is really going to have to fill in their shoes to be able to compete with GTA 6, especially when they're consistently relying on a old battle royale mode.
So look at this, we got Call of Duty 2 for $19.99. Call of Duty 2 came out in what, 2004? 2004, and you want me to pay $20 for that shit? Not gonna happen. Black Ops 4 for $80. I'm not even gonna say anything, let's just keep going.